All right, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Turn this down some. Let me know if that music is too loud. I'm still trying to play with the volumes here. These different songs have these different volumes. But anyway, just the news today. I thought that I will add a lot of things together as I usually do with these Just the News Plus. Some topics I'm going to key in on. Very important information altogether. I know you guys hear about the earth-shattering earthquake that occurred between Turkey and Syria. Hopefully those people can get it together and they get the support and assistance that they need in order, to save lives. Essentially, I also heard that Mexico is sending their world-renowned rescue dogs with their trainers, of course, to assist with Turkey. And I guess they're going to think about Syria, but you guys know where Syria lies on the whole terrorist list. So that's another story for another day. Okay. I see my brother Jermaine Anderson in the room. B1 to you as well. Okay. So anyway, without haste, I want guys to be familiar that there is a Black farmers crisis, that they are essentially attacking Black farmers. These farmers have over 1,000 acres of land, and farming have been in their families for generations. And the very few of them who could hold on to their land for generations are now being attacked by their lighter skin, paler skin neighbors by the way of killing their livestock, poisoning their dog, trespassing on their property, trying to put poison in their crops, all sorts of demonic things. And the farmers are now speaking out against that, rightfully so. I see my sister in here, Red One Entertainment. Grand rising to you too, sister. All right, here we go. So this is what some of our farmers are experiencing.
Continue on with the ongoing effort of support. I'd like to say thank you, world, for sticking in there with me. The fight is not over. I've been informed this morning by a fellow service member that the police were called on us 5 times this past weekend for doing work on our land, for farming while Black. That's not a crime. Elijah McClain would still be alive to this day if it wasn't for somebody calling and saying that a Black man is walking down the street. That's not a crime. None of that is a crime. Farming while on your own land is not a crime. The people that were out here this past weekend didn't deserve to be tormented and harassed by Gerhardt's goons. I guess I'm finna be facing charges. New charges are finna be coming down the pipeline on me for being on my own land. World, I'm asking that y'all come out in full force on 2/17/23 to the Denver Capitol. And we state our claim that the Karen Act be passed.
Before this brother continues here, family, I wholeheartedly support the Black farmers in that area as well as him. And there's all sorts of reports coming out of a lot of the things that have occurred. Some people are pointing out news stories, and literally a lot of these farmers are getting locked up because they're making numerous of complaints. And the reason is because the police in those areas are not doing anything. Now, the gentleman's name he mentioned, who is Gerhardt, is a white sheriff within that area.
And put into law that make it a crime, a hate crime, to weaponize the police against people of color. It has to stop, world. Farming while Black is not a crime. Being on your own land is not a crime. This Gerhardt,
I'm just going to say this and not to add anything that's negative to what the brother is saying, but the one thing he shouldn't have said was people of color. Stop saying that. You came on the video starting talking about Black farmers. Now, I don't know if any non-white people other than Asians have farms in America, but they don't have the same stories as Black farmers. I don't know if there's any Hispanic farmers. I'm pretty sure there's some, right? but you don't hear them coming out, and you don't hear them demonizing their cattle, and their crops are being poisoned, their dogs are being poisoned, people are trespassing on your land. Your wife almost got there was a story, I think it was this particular black farmer, where his wife was coming home from church and they ran her off the road. People going past their house with guns and all these other things that are occurring to him. So the focus, family, needs to stay on what you are, because some people like to believe there aren't any race issues in America. Then why in the hell do we always have diversity and inclusion? Because there's a lot of race relations. There's a lot of negative connotations, perspectives, as well as depiction of Black people maintaining and sustaining being poor and not having things of their own. There was a person who literally walked up on his house and knocked on a door and stated that the land that he was on didn't belong to him and that it was hers. So all these things are happening to these Black farmers. And believe me, if you are in the Denver area, okay, if you're in the Colorado state and you can make it there, go and support these Black farmers because they need it. This needs to be a worldwide issue. And see, here's the thing about when we have the, United Nations, right? We have this conglomerate of different countries banning and joining together, stating that, you know what? We're going to make sure that the people who are under United Nations, that we keep your governments in check, and that there's no ill-humane things that are occurring to the citizens. Well, family, I hate to tell you that United Nations was never for Black people in America.
Gerhardt needs to be fired, needs to be removed. He needs to be sitting in a jail cell. Him and all his goons that partake and allow for the mistreatment of people of color. We got a long road, world. We got a long road ahead of us.
I can't disagree with the brother with that, but again, keep saying people of color. And as Cut the Damn Check, I believe, Cut the Damn Check said, what's going to happen if we keep using the term POC and people of color, and once again, we're grouped in with everyone else, we're going to get a hate crime bill for people of color, but they're going to leave Black Americans out. Absolutely. Somebody said, oh, well, it's an all-inclusive bill. See, here's the thing, family. When they made a hate crime bill for the Asians, they made it for the Asians. Nothing wrong with that. Now, if you make a hate crime bill for people of color, then damn, they got 2 times the law enforcement to the second power, because they fall under people of color. At one point in time, did you guys know in this country, we used to call Asian people yellow, but that was looked upon as a racial trope or very derogatory within the Asian community? Like, no, we're Asian, call us Asian. But in this country, we have to essentially be called whatever they want us to call. And that's why we are now taking up the term, I think that was coined by Tariq Nasheed by the way of Dr. Claude Anderson, because Dr. Claude Anderson stated that we should be called Native Black Americans. And then now it's getting twisted and tied and mixed and matched with, wait a minute, are you saying you're Native American? You're trying to Indian Americans? And I thought you was Black Seminoles. So all of these things were occurring where people were getting very confused on the labeling of a certain people because of their lineage and culture. So he came up with the term foundational Black America, which rightfully so suits all of us who ancestry, mother or father, and both, derives from this country far beyond 1776. We're talking as early as the 1500s. If people who are understanding that whole FBA space, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So, and again, family, we have to point these particular things out right here. We have to point these things out right here. Let me let you hear this in case you forgot. Yeah, today I'm using Twitter, for all of my information. Usually I go all over the place, but I'm just going to stay on my Twitter feed where I just sent some links to myself. But I think that you guys will enjoy this. I think that you guys will get some information. But remember, the Biden administration, they said, well, I'm going to say they said, I'll say that Joe Biden was incoherent, and I'll say Kamala Harris actually one who stated, we're not going to do anything just for black people. No, we're not doing that. Oh, no. This is America. We have all sorts of people. We have black people, white people, Africans. We have Asian people, Pacific Islander people. We have all these different people here. So we can't do something just for black people. No.
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that.
See, what I love is she wasn't playing when she said that. She said, let's be really clear about this. I'm not doing anything just for black people. But we all know about the Asian hate crime bill, do we not? We also know about the millions of dollars that the Obama administration and the Biden administration gave to Jewish people, the Holocaust survivors. Now, again, just because I state that information, family, doesn't mean I'm against them getting their money or the atrocities they went through. That's a whole different video. We're just talking about what this country, what this government has done for a specific group of people. But when it comes to us, they like to group in other people, or they say, we don't got the money right now, right? That's what they tell us. Now, I don't want to jump right into the state of address because we're not going to spend, believe it or not, family, we're not going to spend much time there. I want to go back to the black farmers. But again, I had to showcase your girl. Okay, I had to showcase your girl because Kamala is trying to group her in. If she is, if she's black, if she's Asian, if she's this, if she's that. But anyway, let's get into the video.
In El Paso County, Colorado. And despite Nicole being a U.S. military veteran who waves her military flag on their ranch and being a part of the church community, as well as feeding the residents in El Paso
the same farmer guys
from their food from their ranch, they are being terrorized by locals who want their land. As seen here in the footage, locals have been jumping the fence. They have slaughtered their livestock, poisoned their dog, and has driven by their house waving guns. Nicole was ran off the road when she was coming back from church. Courtney states that there was a woman that pulled up in his driveway and said that she was supposed to own the land and made threats about unaliving their dog. What's worse is that the local sheriff isn't doing anything about it and is being investigated now for being a part of this terrorism. And they have actually issued a warrant for Courtney and Nicole because of their complaints against the local community and the sheriff.
Now, family, that's some white supremacy for your ass, that there's a warrant out for your arrest because you made complaints about your neighbors killing your cattle, trying to unlive your dog by poisoning it, waving guns past your house, running your wife off the road. I mean, ladies, for a second, I just got to go into my black man mode. As a black man, that is the most dangerous atmosphere to have my family. And that's the point. They're creating an environment. They're creating a subspace where you can't escape, where the only thing you're going to have to do is try to sell your land, right? And if you try to sell it locally, they're going to try to give you pennies on the dollar versus what is actually valued and worth. So these are some of the scare tactics that the citizens of white supremacy and those white supremacists actually do to obtain things illegally from black folk. These scare tactics. Because at the end of the day, family, it don't matter how much money you have, how influential you are, how famous you are. At the end of the day, this system still looks at you as one thing, and it starts with an N. Now, and we're going to be bouncing around here, family, so we're not going to get stuck on one topic or another. Armageddon says other groups of people with color never say people of color and include us in their plights. They make it clear they're only for their nation. Absolutely. I can't listen. We went over this before in this channel where we comb through each and every of the different minorities' congressional caucuses, right? We went to the Asian Congressional Caucus, the Hispanic Congressional Caucus, and we would like to call it the Black immigrant, excuse me, I said Black immigrant, the Black Congressional Caucus. But when reading what those different caucuses are about, right? Very simple read. You go into the about section with the Asians, they're talking about Asians and Pacific Islanders. They're talking about improving their communities, getting funding for schools and infrastructure, and all those things are above. And the same as the Hispanic community on their particular congressional site. But when you go to the Black Congressional Caucus about section on their particular website, they get into the word immigration. None of these other minorities on the congressional, sites are talking about immigration at all. Why does the third minority at 13, 14%, but we're definitely at a decreased amount of Hispanics. Hispanics in this country are around 18%, 19%. Black Americans who are essentially lineage derived in this country, they keep saying 13.6, 13.4 family. I'm gonna just be real. I think it's around anywhere between 14 and 15% because our population has been growing. You can't just be stagnant. But nonetheless, Hispanics still outnumber us because we're bordered to a lot of Hispanic regions, right? Central America, South America, as well as Mexico. And a lot of them come over here for various reasons. So when you talk about immigration, that's also included. So our Black congressional butt kissers are not even focusing on the people that they're actually have been constructed to be together in order to support and push legislations. No. You have the Hispanic Congressional Caucus helping those immigrants, refugees, and illegal migrants come across the border, as well as the Black Congressional Caucus. And see, sometimes I kind of like the way the Asians move. They allow all that degeneracy and disorganization of these other political groups, and they sit back and they go like this. Who do we vote for to open more businesses here in America? That's the question they ask. Yeah, I can go fighting about immigration, let them all come over. But at the end of the day, they know that their political power, because of their political dollars, they don't have to play the whole immigration game. Especially those Asians who are over here from India, Japan, Korea, and I know it's a very political thing to say China, but But he stated during the State of the Union address that we still have an issue with, that whole thing, the whole pandemic was around, and damn it, I said it, and never mind. But you guys know what I'm referring to. And so this comedian thought it would be funny to make jokes that she has all her shots. She's all up to date on all her shots. Well, this is not funny, family, but it's karma almost instantly.
I don't mean to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period.
Hold on. hold on, family. She stated all her shots that she had, as well as the shingle shots, and she's making fun. Oh, you know, people were saying all these things about the solution they gave us all, or tried to give us all, rather. And right here, she's like, and I still have my period too, meaning it didn't change her biology. Who knows what she's referring to, but keep listening, keep watching.
And what? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
She says she's serious. Somebody keep help. She was paralyzed. She hit her head. It's not funny.
I don't mean to brag. I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
It's not. I'm childish. That's what I am.
To brag.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
I'm not a role model at all, family. I'm childish because, boy, when karma hits, karma hits. I mean, whoo, that karma was instant. But hey, listen, you know, I tell people, if you don't want to be, you know, black, because that's a lot of issues we get into. Like I ramble around social media and I pick up things here and there, but you kind of get the vibe that there's some people who don't want to be black, right? They hate their melanated skin because of the way they're treated. So a lot of them, right, they do stuff like this. So they want to wipe off their good melanin so they can be whiter, and then the same solutions and chemicals they're using causes cancer, and then your skin now has no protection from the radiant sun. I mean, family is just so much out here that, you know. But anyway, okay, anyway, let's move on. We're back on it. Like I said, family, we're gonna bounce around so I don't get too we don't get too inundated with the news. We don't get too bored with the news. So
the video comes from a camera worn by a Grand County Sheriff's deputy looking high and low for one particular.
This is the view from a Grand County Sheriff deputy's body camera on July 10th. It's rolling as Deputy Amanda Edwards pulls up to help Moab police look for a man they claim ran from them. And that is a lasso. It's considered a utility tool used by law enforcement here for stray livestock, and even once in another county helping rescue a man from a flood.
How's it going, guys? I'm looking for a gentleman that took off running on us.
But on this day,
African-American gentleman.
Deputy.
So first, family, I thought this was a joke because she stated she's looking for a gentleman who ran off from them while she's kind of wrangling and trolling a rope. And they said some African-American gentleman, but listen on.
Edwards has other plans.
That was my plan, man. I mean, it's better than running, right?
As she explains to anyone who asks.
You gonna rope him?
Might. It's better than running. Yeah. Or taser, right?
Yeah, it's a way to see him.
One Grand County deputy is heard raising concerns.
That's going to look really bad if you use that.
Better than a taser.
I've been If you use that rope for that black man, that's gonna look really bad. And basically, he's saying, I don't want no parts of that one. He said, all these cops, doing these things for black people. I want to keep my job. So he tried to warn her. So I feel
Waiting for this moment for quite.
Didn't she say some stupid shit like that? Waiting for this moment
Quite some time.
While a Utah Highway Patrol trooper had this reaction.
Appreciate it. We just need to get him on the run. Like, run now.
No, this is not real life. Unbelievable. I think it was a wild, wild west.
This was the reaction when KSL showed the video to Janetta Williams with the NAACP and Ray Duckworth and Mario Mathis with Black Lives Matter Utah.
So she knew she was looking for a black man, and she gets a rope.
What is he going to see coming towards him?
A slave.
So many people took pictures of me with my rope. I'm like, oh my God, please don't say bad things.
The Moab Sun News published this photo. The caption revealing Edwards' use of the lasso while searching for a suspect prompted an internal investigation. Our news team interviewed Edwards in 2021 after she had received the Utah Small Agency Officer of the Year award. At the time, she worked for Moab City Police, and she'd also recently received an honor from the NAACP.
I take that as joking. Like, to me, it comes back to a matter of professionalism.
Grand County Sheriff Steve.
Yeah, so basically they're doing some investigation with this white female police officer of her trying to wrangle a black man with a rope. Armageddon says, I think our population is double what they show us. Why do we have the same deletions and crime rate with our high prison rate and our population is still growing fast? So family, as they try to make black people the face of the criminal class here in America, we understand that we have the third largest population. I'll keep it at 14.5%. I know we hear the continuance of 13%, but family, our population has risen. The other thing to that is the face of crime in America, they paint as black. But the realistic statistical evidence and data shows that it's from the dominant society, which is majority Caucasian. But these are the things they don't show, I will say, constantly on the news day in and day out. These are not some of the top stories. When you look at the mass shootings in America, did you know that there's a statistic within that information and data that depicts white men, most of the mass shootings that they commit are killing their families. Did you know that? See, we thought a lot of the mass shootings are people going into churches, people going into convenience stores, people going into fast food restaurants, and they're just shooting up the place, right? We thought that is the data, that is the information that we receive. Well, no. And this is what I'm talking about, some of the stories that are not getting headline news for a very consistent nature. Majority of the mass shootings in America, of the mass deletions in America are from white middle-aged men killing, YouTube, take that word out, that are deleting their family members. That is the mass majority. But they paint us as the criminal class of America, which is absolutely untrue. You take a certain percent of us that are doing the wrong thing, just like every section, every race, every community in America has a percentage of them that are not, quote unquote, your model citizens. But they paint us all as a monolith and as a group that are essentially always in illegal activity. But there's some things they just don't show. Yeah, there are some things they just don't show.
We are here this morning to announce the arrests of Sarah Clandaniel and Brandon Russell on criminal complaints for conspiring to attack our local power grid. As the criminal complaint alleges, Clandaniel and Russell conspired and took steps to shoot multiple electrical substations in the Baltimore area, aiming to, quote, completely destroy this whole city. But these plans were stopped thanks to the swift action and collaboration of our federal, state, and local enforcement partners, law enforcement partners. Together, we are using every legal means necessary to keep Marylanders safe and to disrupt hate-fueled violence.
Marylanders can rest assured that a threat to disrupt their daily lives by attacking the local power grid has been stopped.
Okay, so my first question to you is, when have Black people, Black Americans, right, unevoked, like nothing occurred to us to the point where we wanted to gather together and destroy power grids of our city? Now, don't forget, family, there's a racial component of this. These are white supremacists, number one. Two, they were trying to do this in a Black city. I'm just trying to figure out, when is this a group of Black people got together and said, you know what, we're going to go into white neighborhoods and white areas and destroy their power grid so we can destroy the city, right? I mean, even with that being said, once you destroy the power grid, what is your next step? Like, they can fix the power grid. They can fix the power grid. There's only 2 or 3 of them, right? You're going to destroy the city.
As alleged in the complaint, Sarah Beth Clendaniel and Brandon Russell conspired to inflict maximum harm on the power grid, a key component of our critical infrastructure. The accused were not just talking, but taking steps to fulfill their threats and further their extremist goals. Russell provided instructions and location information. He described attacking the power transformers as the greatest thing somebody can do.
This wasn't a bluff. They was geared and booted up and suited up. They had plans. They had diagrams. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. These are grade A1 white supremacist, neo-Nazi terrorists. But they would like to demonize a group like the Black Panthers, and they're feeding school lunches to children, marching in the street with picket signs. And of course, at that time, they had guns as well to protect themselves. But they didn't go out and say, you know, we're going to go up to the city justice building and we're just going to take it over. They stood on the steps. They never went through the door. But that's the difference between the way they see crime and the way we see crime. Doesn't it amaze you, family? Like, when you see somebody do crime, you see them for what they are: Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. But when they see crime in America, even though all these other things are occurring, let's just show them.
In her own words, Clendaniel said she was determined to do this. She added, it would lay this city to waste. Their actions threaten the electricity and heat of our homes, hospitals, and businesses. To those extremists looking to disrupt society and cause chaos in our communities, we will not allow, nor will we tolerate this. We work every day to mitigate these threats, including those to our critical infrastructure, and identify those criminals seeking to inflict harm. As always, we ask the public to report anything they consider suspicious to law enforcement.
So anyway, family, I don't know if you guys was abreast of that particular situation, but just because we're doing just the news and I can pop around and not be in order, I would like to share a story with you with this gentleman here. Now, he was telling his Karen story. I just think it's a funny story. Let's see what we can get out of it, right? He states here, Starbucks Karens, let me tell about my coffee run this morning. I went to the Starbucks inside the Target at the Holy Mall or whatever he's stating here, and ordered a latte. A white woman came to the counter. I stepped back so she can place her order. While checking emails on my phone, I heard her say, I think he's trying to take a picture of me. I ignored her. She then became indignant. Yes, he's trying to take a picture of me. I let Karen know that I was not interested in taking pictures of her non-melanated, unattractive self. She then accused me of following her. Girl, how can I be following you when I was here first? A manager came out and stated, if you all don't calm down, I'm going to call security. If we don't calm down, if we don't calm down, you mean the historical white woman making false accusations, don't you? I told her that I'd be glad to wait for security to set the record straight. I was now in the presence of 3 white women, one who took my order, one falsely accusing me of her and trying to take her picture, and one threatened to call security, Karen to the third power. I told the unattractive, delusional white woman who thinks black men want to sneak her photo that she comes from a line of racist white women that have caused black men to be killed, brutalized, and imprisoned for centuries over false allegations. I told the 2 other women that they come from a line of white folks who actively in harming black people. I let all 3 Karens know that today they picked the wrong black man and threatened to call top flight mall security of the world. Didn't frighten me. That's from a movie. Those 3 Karens assembled like transformers against big bad threat of a black man trying to get a latte. For the record, to all the Karens, I have a beautiful black wife. We will celebrate 32 years of marriage on Wednesday. If I had to marry all over again, I would marry a beautiful black woman. I don't want you. I don't want your picture. I just want my latte. I thought it was a good story. I'm pretty sure some of you might have had some encounters with some Karens, maybe from the years back, and ever since this new sort of hit word that we're using with them. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. Now, during this time of Black history, you're always going to have people within the dominant society to, let me make sure I got this right, to make fun of Black people. Like, you know, the only time I can recall Black people making fun of white people is in comedy, right? We kind of make, our comics have made fun of the way they talk and the way they walk. That's about it. We don't go and put whiteface on. You notice that? And they know that this whole blackface thing is part of the minstrel show of demonizing and looking at Black people in a very degenerate manner. I mean, we already know this, but here we go.
Your mom is never letting anyone in.
You're nothing but a slave. And after this, you're doing my laundry.
The way she just takes this shit, bro.
So at first, no. At first, I thought that the person they were spraying was Black. And then I looked at it a little closer, like, no, she's a white woman, right? And she's letting her spray all in the face, you know, with the spray on and everything. And she said something about heritage and history. And then at the end, the young white lady who was getting sprayed with the dark brown or Black spray paint said, I'm Black and I'm proud. This is what we go through. I'm backing up just a little bit here.
And after this, you're doing my laundry.
The way she just takes this shit, bro.
No other group, not on the same level, no other group goes through what our people go through each and every day. And someone will like, that's a victimless crime. It's just another way of suppressing and oppressing the people through media, right? Allowing this video to remain on social media. Some people won't look at that as oppression. It is. Let you say something out of line and see what occurs to you in your video or your professional standing. I'll say that. But anyway, let's move on. I kind of want to touch on the State of the address here. And family, we're not looking at the whole state of address. This is only like 3 minutes and 52, but there are some things that he pointed out that are lies. They're absolutely lies. There is a point of this that I want to focus on, and hopefully I didn't pass it here, but I kind of want to get the ball rolling because there's some things he said. And the most important thing he said out of all of this, excuse me, not the most important thing he said. The most important thing that they show is the reaction of the Republicans. But I want you to key in on Biden's words and then their non-expressions, or in some cases, very, smirkish expressions, because I'm not a Republican, okay? I am apolitical, but even the Republicans like, these are fucking lies, right?
Hey, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it. A lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair. Some Republicans.
Family, do you know how silly it is for a president to tell the State of the Union that the tax system is not fair? You have power to do something about it. Yeah, it has to be bipartisan power, but at the time you had the Senate and you had the House. Right now you just have the Senate. But the Democrats had the Senate and the House, and he's talking about the tax system. Are you freaking kidding me? You could have done something, Joe Biden, about those loopholes in the tax systems. But how are you going to get paid under the table if you fix all of the tax holes? You can't do both. That's why, if you notice, guys, politicians just talk. Now, they do 100 times more talking than they will ever do in action.
Want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see it. My administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion. The largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. But what happened to Tyree and Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us.
He stated that what happened to Tyree Nichols happens way too often. Yes, Black men who get killed and brutalized by the police each and every day. Black men and women and children. You're right. It happens way too often. And your administration and administrations even before you have done nothing to protect Black people in America. And then there's going to be some people probably in the comment section, well, they got beat up and killed by Black police officers. And again, this really boils down to two things: race and qualified immunity. You wipe away qualified immunity, then we may start to see increased justice for Black people. But the second component is race. Black people, just as well as Asian people, if not, 10 times more, when we're talking about the crime statistics and hate crimes done upon these two particular groups that Black people are 10 times more qualified, unfortunately, to get a personalized, directed hate crime bill. But have we had that yet? So all of this, what he did during the State of the Union, was more lip service, was more poppycock, more him just bumping his gums and running his mouth. And unfortunately for Black people, it don't matter who's in charge. It don't matter who's the president, who has the House, who has the Senate, who's in Congress, who's part of this board. It has been consistent in the system of white supremacy, how they do nothing for Black people, but a lot for other people.
Safe. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all. If we don't pass my comprehensive...
So you've seen all of these people stand up when he said ban assault weapons now. It's funny to me because we, the people, the public, the citizens of these United States of America, especially Black people, we don't really, I'm just telling from our own personal experiences growing up in Southeast DC, we didn't look at a lot of news. I don't recall a lot of the news, but once you start looking at the news and you see how much these damn people lie, family, why would a president get on national TV and say, ban assault weapons down, ban them now? Oh, he's putting out the word for people in different communities and states who support Democrats because they're going to put a ban on assault weapons. Family. Joe Biden's presidency was democratically ran for at least 2 years. He had the House, the Senate, and him, the president. So anything he comes across his table from his party, he's not looking to veto it. He's looking to sign it. But now that the Republicans have the House, he is now, ban assault weapons now. Well, why didn't you do that in your first 2 years? See, they playing this game with the American people, family. And unfortunately, if they're playing a game on the American people, then my foundational Black Americans, they're playing on you tenfold, right? You're not even getting the short end of the stick. You're not even getting a stick.
Immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
And here's another thing, family, that I want you guys to think about. He keeps talking about giving the police more money. It's hidden language. Let me back up a little bit. It's hidden language because he's talking about giving police more training. Anytime you say, I'm going to give police more training, that means increasing their budget. So they are increasing the police budget and they're refunding the police. The Democrats, right? Of course, the Republicans are going to do it, but the Democrats is going to do it as well. Ever since Biden been in office, guess what? I think in the Georgia area, they're building a cop city. And the citizens that live around in that community are protesting to eradicate from that city ever being built, as it being built. Listen to this, though. I want you to listen to the trick language.
Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now.
Hold on. Where we at?
This happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher.
Give law enforcement officers the real training they need. So why they're not getting that training now, especially after George Floyd, even though we have so many stories we can reference to in the Black community, but why they're not getting the training they need? Why does this continue to happen? Then he says, hold them to higher standards. You mean don't kill the public that you are, that you pledge allegiance to protect and serve? Right? Police officers take an oath of office. And anytime they violate that oath of office, most of them, if not all of them, can no longer be a police officer. Did you know that police officers can get fired from one precinct, go to the next city, go to the next town, and get hired by another precinct? I don't know if you guys know that. They can get fired and rehired just like anybody else. But if they have a violation of oath of office on their record, supposedly they're unhireable. They can no longer be hired.
Standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now.
Hold on.
Comprehensive immigration reform. Once and for all. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border. And a pathway to citizenship for.
Okay, family. Unfortunately, I agree with the Republicans' response on this one. Pass your comprehensive immigration bill and then turn around and talk about provide money for more officers to secure the border. Then you talking about your citizenship for Dreamers family. This is where I have the problem at. Let's go there. Oh yeah, I had to pop it up. President Biden sends immigration bill to Congress as part of his commitment to modernize our immigration system. That has nothing to do with securing the border. Let me tell you how these politicians secure the border, right? Because for whatever reason, America population about 5 to 8 years ago was 350 million. And then because of uptick of abortions and day after pills and et cetera, our population declined by 20 million to 330. So now, and I can't really speak for Republicans, but I can just see since Biden has been in office, we've had the most illegal immigration problem in the history of America. So with that being said, it states that this bill provides hardworking people who enrich our communities every day and who have lived here for years, in some cases for decades, an opportunity to earn citizenship. The legislation modernizes our immigration system and prioritize keeping families together, growing our economy, responsibly managing the border with smart investments. I don't know what that means, managing the border. Addressing the root cause of immigration. The root cause of immigration from Central America and ensuring that the United States remains a refuge for those fleeing persecutions. This is when they toy with the American people because, family, we already know the root cause of immigration for Central America. They have unstabilized countries, right? Because we have essentially criminalized these countries to an extent where we know where the drugs are coming from, but we built an avenue in order to allow some drugs within the nation. Because why wouldn't we? Here's the thing, right? And again, apolitical. I'm not a Republican, not a Democrat. But if we are trying to smart invest and secure the border, why wouldn't we build a wall and then man the wall? Oh, it's going to cost billions of dollars. The only thing they're going to do is climb over the wall. The only thing they're going to do is climb under the wall. The only thing they're going to do is just cut. Let me tell you something. You guys ever watch shows? I mentioned the show the other day, The Walking Dead, where The Walking Dead, you ran into this building. They would try to block the door and trying to stop them from getting in. Eventually, the zombies get in. But the point is they slowed them down. That's the point. Because here's the thing. If you put men across the border, all of the men can't secure the entire southern border to Mexico. Family, that will cost us billions of dollars. Oh, maybe it will cost us the billions of dollars that we sent to Ukraine. Yeah, that part. But anyway, create and earn roadmap to citizenships for undocumented individuals. Anybody know what undocumented individuals? Anybody? Anybody know what undocumented individuals mean? Oh, it means that they're illegally in the country, right? See, people like to use this all the time in social spaces. Words have real power. Words have meaning, especially when you understand the etymology of those words. We went from illegal aliens to illegal immigrants, to illegal migrants, to undocumented immigrants, to undocumented migrants, to undocumented individuals. You know, I wonder, those 13 Haitian people they sent back to Haiti are looking at these different caravans coming up from Honduras and Guatemala and Cuba, Colombia, and Costa Rica, all these countries, and as well as Mexico. I wonder what they ask themselves. Do you think they sent us back because we was black? Because they didn't let them in the country. They was in a southern city in Texas, and they went no further. But anyway, the bill further supports families by more explicitly including permanent partnerships and eliminating discrimination facing LGBTQ plus families. Huh? What? Okay, maybe I should read from the beginning, right? Because people in media, right, they like to just take out little excerpts so you only get half of the video or half of the clip or half of the context. Keeping families together. The bill reforms a family-based immigration system by clearing backlogs, recapturing unused visas, eliminating lengthy wait times, and increasing per-country visa caps. It also eliminates the so-called 3 and 10 bars and other provisions that keep families apart. The bill further supports families by more explicitly including permanent partnerships and eliminating discrimination facing LGBTQ families. Huh? What? See, the reason why you had to read before is to say, okay, this is about immigration, LGBTQ. Then it goes into some. All right, I'm gonna move on, family. Promote immigrant and refugees interaction and citizenships. Oh, wow. Provides funding to state and local governments, private organizations, educational institutions, community-based organizations, and nonprofits to expand programs to promote integration and inclusion, increase English language instructions, and provide assistance to individuals seeking to become citizens. Family, when have the U.S. government done anything close remotely to helping Black people on this particular level? They're going to provide, the federal government is going to provide money to states and local governments and private organizations, educational institutions, community-based organizations, nonprofits. They're going to give all of these institutions this money in order to teach illegal immigrants English so they have an easier way to become citizens, even though that they are illegally in the country and they are illegally migrating throughout the nation. Good time say, notice they never mentioned the belief system or motives of the terrorists. Absolutely not. They just kind of show them. And at that time, they didn't even really show their face except on their mug shots. The news said the city was intended target of the crime. The news did not say any group of people were targeted by the terrorists. They don't need to say it. They don't need to say it. See, here's the thing, family. You have to look through what media gives you and really think about the racial climate and relations in this country, right? Anytime they're talking about the amount of people who were shooting, you only really hear 2 cities, right? You hear Chicago and you hear Baltimore. And then they make Black people the face of crime by showing only stories that depict, middle-aged to young Black men, that they are the ones who are shooting up these streets. So when you think about, they're going to eradicate this city and decimate this city and destroy this city, and they're white supremacists, and the city is majority Black, Come on, family. Come on, good times. I know you was probably trying to see where I was going at with that, but yeah, we got to be smarter than that. All right, so grow our economy. And this, again, family, this is Biden's immigration bill. The bill makes it easier for graduates of the U.S. universities, listen, with advanced STEM degrees to stay in the United States, improve access to green cards for workers in low-wage sectors, and eliminate other unnecessary hurdles for employment-based green cards. So when people come over here, and I did my last video was showing you how if you are an immigrant of any sort, how all these federal programs are there to support you and fund you, right? So listen, here's the thing. Some people are like, oh man, this guy hates immigrants. No, not at all. I don't hate anyone. But when you're in this country illegally, it really caused a problem for Black Americans. And what people don't understand that, because they're always going to lift up other people who are non-Black. That's the point. That is the point I'm making. They will always lift up. When you go to these prospective Latin countries, you will see that the majority of people that are coming to America, whether they're flying, driving, or walking in, they have a lighter skin tone. Because in these countries, you know, you got white Colombians, you got Black Colombians, you got white Mexicans, you got Black Mexicans, and you got the ones in the middle. But the ones in the middle and the lighter skin tone are the ones that come into this country. Even though these other countries like Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, they have Black people as well. But why don't they waste their time? Because if anyone has a radio or TV, they will understand what occurs to Black people in this country. And unfortunately, a lot of us have learned to live with it. We've learned to live behind enemy lines. We've learned to deal with the deletions of our brothers and sisters and the oppression. We live in a state of depression to a point where we understand that this is what it is. And then there's times where we gather up, we unify, we unite, and we band together to fight the system of oppression. But even that gets tiring, correct? But this is some of the highlights from this immigration bill. But let me show you the bill itself, okay? HR 1177. This was introduced last year, February, okay? And it's called the U.S. Citizenship Act. It was introduced by Congressperson Sanchez of D.C. And the tracker shows that it's only been introduced. It's not even through the House, the Senate. It's still stuck to a point where it hasn't even begun on the track of being approved. And I hope it stays there. Because until you do something for Black folk, I'm going to keep that last comment to myself. But they understand, this nation understands that we're not only owed and deserving, that they need to cut the check. Right? But let me show you what's in here really quickly. This is not long. To provide an earned path to citizenship, to address the root cause of immigration, the root cause of migration, and responsibly manage the southern border, and reform the immigrant visa system, and for other purposes. To manage the southern border? What about, you see, family, this is what I'm talking about, the etymology of words and understanding what they mean. Here in Biden's immigration bill, it says manage. Manage. Not secure the border. Why secure and manage is a big difference when you're writing in a federal, when you're writing federal legislation? Because secure something means you can't come through unless we allow you to. That's something being secure. It's like locking your front door, right? They have to go through some extra extra features in order to break in your house. They can't just open the door. So it's secured. Now, manage is when you say, we need somebody at the door to man the door, to manage the door. We only want 2 people coming in every 10 minutes. They're not stopping anyone, family. They're not securing anything, family. They're just managing the border. Okay, let me see your green card. Let me see your visa. Let me see your passport. Okay, you can come through. That's managing the border. Root word is man. Then you need to manage. See, understanding these words makes sense because when you read this government legislation, boy, these are not smart people, but they try to be tricky. See, they're more witty than they are intelligent when they write this legislation. Because on one hand, you hear the Republicans, secure the border down, secure the border. But Joe Biden said, no, we're just going to manage it.
Dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade. Make no mistake about it.
Now, the whole Roe versus Wade debacle and argument and debate, we've been hearing it, family, how there's been a lot of Black men stating how Roe versus Wade, when that was enacted, really killed off millions and millions of Black babies. I'm not going to get into the very different reasons, but here's the thing. We have to understand that by having a very low population, the oppression is even more compounded on us, right? Because when you look at this, family, you don't have enough people in order to fight these good fights that we need to fight in order for us to continue to come out of oppression, right? People just think that we're just getting oppressed and we're being suppressed and we're not doing nothing about it. No, there's a lot of people doing things about it. And what people don't understand in war, which we are in, right? This could be a soft war, a cold war, however you want to look at it, is that everybody can't be on the streets marching, right? Those are the soldiers. They're on the street marching and protesting and pounding the pavement. Then you need voice boxes, right? You need voice boxes of Black media, of new Black media, speaking about these topics, breaking down these topics, right? Talking in a manner where people understand what's going on. See, here's the thing. If people start talking about other people and supporting other groups and all that, then I wouldn't say they're on the same road as Black empowerment, because the arguments start to get deflected on other people, and then that gets into people of color, and then that gets into immigrants. See, what I've noticed of people in this country, they fight, they defend, they speak up for their own kind. But when it comes to us, they would like to spread us thin and have us take up all these other agendas that do not support Black Americans. And this has nothing to do with racism. This has nothing to do with division. This has something to do with supporting your own people, just as other people do. They do it all the time.
Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, a test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we stand for the defense of democracy? There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor.
Really? We must give hate and extremism. I mean, family, he's talking out both sides of his neck. I don't know if you guys get tired of politicians like I do, but I really get tired of both sides equally. No. I'll take that back. More so the Democrats, because they continue to pan to Black Americans, right? Family, let me tell you something what's going on. I'm trying to find this video for you guys. This is my governor.
Of business conducted by
Let
the
me
state
take
of
that back.
Texas,
This is the
where
governor.
every agency
Hey, my governor.
is not going to be subject to Chinese being able to tap into and take that information away. And that's exactly why this was issued to every agency in the state of Texas. They must have a plan in place later this month to make sure that no business conducted by the state of Texas will be conducted on a device that has TikTok on it. We want to make sure that every piece of business conducted by the state of Texas for every...
I don't even know what to say about that. He's banning TikTok in Texas just for government phones. So I mean, you should be on social media on your government phone anyway, but we probably all did it. Red Wine said the whole speech was a joke. Indeed. Man. Okay, so now I think America has funded the MS-13 to go fight terrorism. Listen to this, family.
Sureños putting it down, homie. In Middle East, homie, in Syria, still gangbanging, not giving a homie. Look, homie, check this the Puro Sur 13, homie, still gangbanging this homie. Got the G-Dub, homie. Go, Mali. Check out the enemigas right there, homie. They're all right there, dog. But we don't give a homie. As you know, homie, and shout out, homie, Capone, Mr. Criminal from Silver Lake, homie, Capone from Cyclones, and Crazy Loco from Pasadena, and Pink Lady. We still got love for you, girl. We still got love for all your homies, all the Sureños,
all you vatos.
Let's put this down to all these homies. That's for all the Sureños, homie, not giving a homie. That's right. Gang banging, homie. Post this homie, tell the homies in Middle East, homie, still gang banging, homie. Putting that the big Sur 13 gang, homie.
Syria, homie. We're in Syria, homie.
Still G-Dub con Piwanos 13 gang, homie.
Frontline, homie.
Puro
Frontline,
HD,
homie. Frontline. We don't give a
Blasting the homie. Damn fools, homie. Look at that look.
Hey, family, have you noticed? He said, we gang banging. Hold on. But listen, did you see this? Hold on, let me show you. They said they gang bang. I want you guys to see how they shooting. Now, me being a former military man myself, why not you use this weapon?
That's for all the Sureños, homie, not giving a homie. That's right. Gang banging, homie. Post this homie, tell the homies in
Hey, you know, sometimes family, you just gotta have fun, because there's other things that occur in this world, and sometimes you just gotta laugh at some of the most serious stuff, especially MS-13 in Syria, gangbanging, terrorists. I guess I don't know, but back to race relations, right? This next video, family, is really disturbing to me, only because they jumped this black young lady while other white people was watching, right? They jumped, so a mother, her daughter, and I guess a friend of her daughter's jumped this black girl. She's not a woman. She doesn't look grown. So they jumped this black woman, and the people around, I mean, it was at least 10 people around watching this, and the person who was videotaping it was giving instructions to imply more damage to the Black young female.
Get up. Move. Move. Get him back. Get him back. Get him back. Oh, get him back. Get up there. Get up there. That's it. Get my phone. That's it, Margaret. That's it. Kick the head. Punch the face off her. Punch her face and kick. Get her head bent off the floor. Get her off the floor. That's it. Get up, Margaret. That's it. Pull it back, Kelly. That's it. That's it. Kick her in the face.
Dodie.
Step on her face.
Oh my God. She's year 6 now, Whitney.
Step on her face, Whitney. Kick her in the face. Get her, Margaret. Kick her in the face. That's it. Kick her in the face. Whitney. Kick her in the face. You spastic. Look at Whitney. Get over there, something.
I don't think this is in America. There's a strong accent. I'm looking at some of the tags. This is not an America, family. And like I told you, the person who is on the phone is actually giving the children instructions on what they should do, right? And all of them need to be in jail. All of them need to be in jail. I don't know what occurred prior to this, but all of them need to be in jail, especially the parent and especially the woman who's behind the camera giving instructions on how to cause more pain and suffering.
More important stuff happening. Get over there. Go. Get over there. Kick that thing. Go, Kathleen. Kick her in the face. Keep doing it. Quick. Keep doing it. Get over there. Get over there, Whitney. I'm going to murder you. Run, Whitney. God.
And guys, I want you to look on the ground here. This is the young lady's hair. They're literally pulling her hair out. And as a Black woman, you guys know that she may not have a lot of hair here, but she have hair so they can weave in or plait in whatever hair she has. They are ripping out her hair.
Well, honey, get her, honey. Get her, honey. That's it. Honey.
So what's important about this, because there was another woman that stepped in. So now you have two women, two younger adults or whatever they are. I don't even want to call them, the word on here because it's going to bring up a red flag. But you see this with y'all. But look at this, family. Look at the end. It took 4 of them.
Honey, get on her!
Look at all the people standing around. Look at all the people. Look at all the people standing around. Family, we have no friends. Every single person that was standing around was white. She was the only Black person there. And they're watching this. And I don't even want to, I'm going to show you the establishment that they were at. But family, all of these people, like 10, 12 people are watching this occur, where these people are literally jumping on her.
Get on her! Get on her! Honey, give her the face. That's it. That's it. Take that, Kathy. That's it, Kathy. Get her, Kathy. That's it, Kathy.
Wait, Kathy. We're gonna kill
you, you spastic. Yeah, you go for nothing. Handy,
You guys see the background with it yet? Look at what
Hold on, Whitney. Look at Whitney. Big dog down syndrome. Grab her, Whitney. Get her, Kathy. Honey. Honey, get on her.
Can we let go?
Get on her, honey.
Beeson, you booty fish.
That's it now. Come on. That's it.
Oh, no. So after all of that time, this was the guy in the car. Did you guys see this guy right here? He was in the car. None of the people that were standing around did anything to stop this. This guy that essentially went over, I think he was in the car. Let me show you. Let me go back. I want to show you the car so you can get the face of the guy that was he was watching the car. He was about to go somewhere. Where is it at? right here. I believe that's the guy who actually got out and helped, because he kept blowing his horn and he sat there, right? He sat there. Then he eventually got a call. Let me show you his face one more time. I know he wearing shades.
God, honey! What, honey? I'm gonna more to you. Drop on my neck! God, honey!
Right? Okay. Okay. So it's not going to be a good picture, unfortunately. But the reason why I showed it, because here at the end, that looked like the guy that was in the car, essentially. Yeah, that looks like the guy that was in the car. Right there. But I don't know. It could have been someone different. But family, we have no friends. Because as you can tell, there's going to be some people who are complicit in the violence and go along with it. Then there's going to be people who don't want to be involved. But all of that is on team white supremacy.
Have earned reparations, 40 acres and a mule. Continue to build this. Slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations, 40 acres and a mule.
We'll take the 40 acres, keep the mule.
We made your families rich.
From the southern plantation heirs
To the northern bankers. To the New England ship owners.
the founding fathers,
Former presidents. Current senators.
continue to build this.
Slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in
Absolutely, family. Absolutely. We're just covering the news today. But
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say.
We know, Kamala. We know. You'll do something just for Asians. Wait a minute. Isn't your background partially Asian? Never mind. I don't want to get into that. Here we go, family. Listen to this. Tell me what your thoughts are regarding this.
Of white supremacy.
And
have you seen
pay
the
to go
pyramid
there?
of white supremacy?
No,
have
I
you seen
haven't.
that?
I don't look
Go
at
look
race.
it up on Google. Okay. What is on the bottom of that pyramid is indifferent. So if we can get white women to stop being indifferent about other people's pain and suffering, you know, we're all here. And I'll tell you, these people, we're killing the earth. Okay. Who's shooting up white kids in schools? What kids are being shot up in their schools pretty much?
White kids.
White kids. So why are you indifferent to that? And why are you indifferent
Because I'm
to
not
that?
racist.
And if you don't, yes, you are.
See,
yes,
you're
you
that's a
absolutely
preconceived
are.
notion. You're
If
trying to
you
sit here
don't
and
see
tell me
race,
what I am. I
if
don't.
you don't
I
see race,
don't.
then you don't see
I'm
racism.
American
And
Indian.
then you
We're all
uphold- then you
mutts. We all
uphold
have 6
racism.
different ethnic.
Oh, good old race relations. Well, family, it's been fun and it's been long than I usually go, but nonetheless, this is the end of the broadcast. You guys have a great and wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.